time my boyfriend makes me angry, I would deliberately go to the fake death service agency and leave his phone number. Although he knew it was my prank, he would be scared and lose control every time. Then I would suddenly appear and enjoy the feeling that he possessed me like crazy. I'm always unhappy, until he broke up with me suddenly. A year later, I applied for euthanasia due to advanced blood cancer. I left his number by habit. The call for successful euthanasia application. And it reached me. His voice on the phone was cold. Using this way to let me find you. Does it make sense? In the empty room, I covered my nose. Blood dripped from my fingers onto the phone screen and stained a piece. I wiped the blood with trembling fingertips. I looked at his name on the screen for a few seconds before I spoke. Sorry, there was a moment of silence on the phone. We broke up a year ago. I was stunned, and my eyes suddenly became blurry. He was reminding me, but how could I forget? On a rainy night a year ago, without any warning, coldly said goodbye to me. I stood at his door in the heavy rain, waited for him all night. But my neighbor told me, after breaking up with me, he went abroad. In the end, he didn't even leave a reason, or even a goodbye. If it weren't for this call, he probably would never contact me again. I looked out the window at the cold rain, as if I had returned to that day. My throat was blocked by the cocoon and I couldn't speak. It took me a while to reply. I know. So if you want to die, you can die far away. Don't tell me, he said coldly, and hung up the phone mercilessly. I squatted on the ground for a long time, before standing up to wash the blood off my face. Cold water slapped my face. The phone rang again. This time, it was the euthanasia institution in Switzerland. Sorry, because I couldn't get through to you at noon, so I called your reserved number. I was tired and said, it's okay. At that time, I happened to. On the plane to Switzerland. Euthanasia execution. I need information to prove your condition. You also need to do another check. Another examination. I looked at my pale face in the mirror. I said weakly, okay. After hanging up, I took a taxi to the hospital. The test report came out quickly. Leukemia with bone metastases. And treatment was meaningless. In the sympathetic eyes of the doctors, I habitually put the diagnosis certificate into my bag. I was about to leave, my footsteps suddenly stopped. And my breathing suddenly stopped. He was standing at the end of the hallway, still wearing the coat I bought for him before. It's been a year since we last met, and seemed more stable. His handsome and arrogant face, and deep and indifferent eyes. I bit my lip and thought Switzerland is so small. He saw me too, after a moment of surprise, and walked over with a frown. My heart trembled. I was about to speak, I heard him coldly say, I said don't show up in front of me again. His face was cold, his cold eyebrows, and a somewhat indifferent coldness. I slowly clenched my hands. I just came for a physical examination. He didn't believe me. Is such a lie interesting? I made it clear a year ago that I don't love you anymore. It's not enough to stalk me several times. Now you're chasing me to Switzerland. Only makes me feel more disgusted. The blood on my face turned white inch by inch. A year ago, I really couldn't accept him. A sudden breakup. So I used many ways to find him. But this time is different. I saw a slight bitterness in his throat. Before he spoke, I heard a voice coming. I turned around in surprise. I saw a girl walking over, and took his arm. The girl glanced at me, and asked him with a smile, who is this? He didn't know me, but I know him. She was his girlfriend, or current girlfriend. Xiao Ran moved his lips slightly. I interrupted him in a low voice. Xiao Ran paused, and his eyes sank. He didn't say anything. Xiao Ran heard this, smiled and walked towards me, reaching out, hello. I'm Siyu's fiancé. The word fiancé. He emphasized it. I looked down. I saw on Xiao Ran's finger, wearing a ring. The pink diamond on the ring reflected a dazzling light in the sun, which deeply stung my eyes. I subconsciously asked if you were getting married. Xiao Ran smiled sweetly. Yes. Saishu proposed to me last month. Congratulations. I looked up at him. I said lightly, what's the date? He looked at me for a moment, and said a date lightly. July 1st. I was stunned. I felt like a knife that was stabbed into my heart. The smile on my face could no longer be maintained. July 1st. That was the day of my euthanasia. January 1st is a very special date. It was my birthday. It was also that day 3 years ago. He proposed to me. I may never forget that night. That night, the candlelight was flickering on the cake, with my favorite starry sky painted on it. At the age of 23, he knelt on the ground and put all his belongings in front of me. This is my car. This is my property certificate. This card has all my assets. The flickering candlelight illuminated his youthful face. He took a deep breath and gathered courage and looked up at me. I thought, the time and place of speaking is important. But later I found out, the only important thing is you. I know you've always wanted to go to Switzerland, but I can't wait any longer. We can get married in Switzerland. At this moment, I just want to know, will you marry me? The past scenes are playing back frame by frame in front of my eyes. Now we are standing together on the land of Switzerland. He goes to marriage, while I'm walking towards death. I looked at him. He still has the same face, but I can't see any trace of the past. I took a deep breath, Tears were flowing wildly in my heart. But there was not a tear on my face. I smiled and said congratulations. And wish you happiness. The wind in the hospital corridor sobbed. I don't know who it's crying for. After leaving the hospital, I went to the medical institution to deliver the documents. The staff took the documents. When euthanasia is performed, the presence of relatives is required, he said, looking behind me where no one was. And his eyes paused. I said yes. I can do it alone. The staff didn't say anything more, and sighed slightly. There are 3 days left. Yes, just enjoy the last time. After leaving the institution, I received a call from him. I was stunned for a few seconds before answering. There was no sound on the other end of the phone, only the sound of light breathing. But my eyes still turned red. I cursed myself for being useless. I took a deep breath. I stammered. The next moment, Chow Rant's voice came from the other side. It's not him, it's me. It was like a bucket of cold water poured on my head. I woke up suddenly. Sorry, is there anything wrong? I'm going to pick wedding dresses with him tomorrow. He has bad taste, and I don't have any female friends around. I want you to help me choose. Is that okay? On the phone, Chow Rant's voice was sweet. I gripped my phone tightly. I subconsciously wanted to refuse. But before I could finish, I was interrupted by his indifferent voice. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'll send you the location by text message. He finished, without giving me any chance to refuse. He hung up. In a moment, I received the location he sent. 5,000 yuan. And a message saying labor fee. I don't want to make Chow Ran unhappy. I looked at this message. I stood there for a long time before replying. The next day, I went to the bridal shop as promised. I sat on the sofa. I saw Chow Ran holding a catalogue of wedding dresses, and asked her if it looked good. She looked at me gently. She said yes to each one. I was stunned. I suddenly remembered a long time ago. She also showed me pictures of wedding dresses, and showed me, smiling and saying, definitely, I would be the most beautiful bride in the world. The tenderness in her eyes at that time seemed to drown people. I was trapped in those eyes. I really thought we would definitely enter the palace of marriage. I never thought that at this moment 1 year later, I would be the ex-girlfriend who peeks into his happiness. Aches kept rushing to my heart. I looked away, and don't want to see. Chow Ran took the selected photos, and handed it to me. His taste is so bad. This set is obviously very nice. He insisted that. No, he doesn't want this set. Come and see if it's okay. I looked down and saw in the album, Chow Ran chose, which was the one I once said I liked. So that's why he doesn't want this set. I blurted out. Do you remember? Remember what? He raised his eyebrows and interrupted me lightly. I just think the style is too old-fashioned. I stared at him blankly. I stared at him blankly for a while. I nodded. Yes, it's out of date. The style is out of date. And people are out of date. I wanted to smile gracefully, to get over this episode. But I couldn't even smile. I could only lower my head to hide it. But suddenly I felt a heat on my nose, and bright red blood dripped on the album. I was stunned and wanted to wipe it, but saw him suddenly stand up. What's wrong with you?